The U.S. Supreme Court is being asked to consider the issue of same-sex marriage once again, 10 years after a landmark decision that extended marriage rights to same-sex couples across the country. The justices are being petitioned to overturn that decision by a former county clerk. Tessa Bennett joins us live in studio with more on this. Tessa, where's this petition coming from?
Manisa, Kim Davis, a former clerk in Kentucky, has filed an appeal to the High Court. Davis drew nationwide attention in 2015 for denying court orders to issue a marriage license to a same-sex couple on religious grounds. The Supreme Court will now consider whether to take up this appeal. Marriage equality has, at times, been a major political issue in the United States. 10 years ago, the Supreme Court extended access to marriage to same-sex couples nationwide, in a ruling now known as Obergefell v. Hodges. Then in 2022, the Respect for Marriage Act was signed, further providing statutory authority for same-sex marriages. The justices this fall will consider for the first time whether or not to take up a case that asks for that ruling to be overturned.
It's really up in the air what the status of marriages that were previously celebrated will be, and the extent to which states have to recognize against their will same-sex marriages that are recognized in other states.
The petition was filed by former Kentucky County Clerk Kim Davis. Davis first garnered attention back in 2015, the same year same-sex marriage was granted nationwide by the High Court. She spent minimal time in jail after defying a court order and refusing to issue a marriage license to a same-sex couple. She was later ordered to pay a $100,000 jury verdict for emotional damages, as well as $260,000 in attorney's fees for the couple. In her official petition filing, Davis's attorney refers to the decision as a mistake, calling the ruling legal fiction.
Any appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court is a long shot. They get like 8,000 appeals a year and hear about 50 or 60 cases. I think this one's particularly a long shot because what Kim Davis is asking the court to do, to overrule its same-sex marriage decision, isn't actually central to what she wants.
Back in 2022, when the High Court overturned Roe v. Wade, the 1972 ruling that solidified a woman's constitutional right to an abortion, Justice Clarence Thomas suggested the justices also revisit Obergefell. Thomas is still a Supreme Court justice.
The U.S. Supreme Court has changed a lot in the last 10 years. It's a 6-3 conservative court. It's a strong conservative institution. There's at least 2 Supreme Court justices, Justice Thomas and Justice Alito, who I believe are very, very willing to overrule the court's same-sex marriage decision. I'm not totally convinced that they can get 3 other of the court's conservatives to join them.
Legal experts say if the High Court does take up this case, it won't be black and white in terms of how they respond.
So one possibility is that they could say, we're not going to reevaluate same-sex marriage, or we are going to reaffirm that same-sex marriage is constitutionally protected, but they might say an individual has a constitutional right not to participate.
Recent data from global analytics and advisory firm Gallup shows nearly 70% of Americans they polled approve of same-sex marriage, though support from Republicans continues to decline, sitting at 41% as of this year. The Supreme Court officially reconvenes in October, and experts say it's unlikely a decision will be made on this petition while the justices are out of session.